I think we'll do it. There we go. You guys are immortalized now. I put something new up on the group, the Facebook group. You guys have had such great experience and information regarding newsletter promos that I started a new category for people to give their feedback on which ones will work. We were talking about Robin Reads and Book Cave, and whether BookBub ads suck for everybody. I'm not talking about the features. So if you guys have experiences you want to share, like I know people are talking about free Booksy isn't as powerful as it used to be, etc. I mean, feel free to drop that information on the Facebook group, so that it's going to make it, I think, more easy to search.
Oh, I saw that when I was looking for the link. I think it's a smart idea.
Yeah. The messenger thread gets crazy.
Poor Karen.
It does. I come back after you've been on all day and I just spend about 20 minutes. Just scroll. Trying to
Get your
catch up.
coffee and just scroll.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull out the nuggets and kind of make them easier to find. So I'm just gonna shamelessly copy and paste you guys your
Totally fine.
some wisdom
Yeah,
into the group.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good, because there is, as you said, there's loads of good stuff we're talking about, but it does just get lost in the scroll. So yeah, put it all in the group, and then we've got more of a chance of remembering half of what we told each other and doing something about it. That'd be good.
Is that loud if I type?
Not super loud.
It's okay.
Okay.
Can hear it, but it's all right.
Okay. I was gonna say I can mute myself if it's freakishly annoying. All right, so we were gonna focus on AMS ads today. How many people are running AMS ads currently? Michelle, so everybody is CC. Are you,
Yeah,
I
me
see
too.
that you're being incognita today, and that's perfectly fine. Are you running any Facebook, or excuse me, AMS ads right now?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're raising your hand, I got nothing.
I know.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Karen, by the way.
Thanks, Cece.
And to your husband too, Regina.
Thanks. He's got his headset on, or I'd tell him, but oh, Cece says happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
He's researching how to put the plans for the house we're going to build up on Oculus so we can do a walkthrough with VR.
Ooh, fun.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Oh, great.
Yep, it's going to be
I-
weird and cool, and I can't wait to try it.
Mhm.
It's part of why I talked him into buying the Oculus to begin with. And then I made him play Beat Saber, and he was like, all right, I got to have my own now. So yeah, there's
learned-
$600 for Christmas that we have enjoyed. but-
If you get them through Sam's Club, they take, I think it's $20 off. It's the old place I found a sale price on those. So
Oh, yeah, no, we already got those. And then for his birthday, I bought him a flaming blue skull skin for it. So yeah, but we are the two nerds that are wandering around our house at night with these stupid goggles on, whacking at things that don't exist. Yeah, that's probably good that
You know,
there's
we
no
had
video in
ours.
there.
We had ours on last night, and it is so funny. Mom and I were watching James because he's doing the little pitch.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh my gosh, that is so funny. But we got the extender battery packet on the back so that it evens out our
Mhm.
the weight from the front. So we got that, and that's why we were playing with it last night. But yeah, much
Yeah,
better,
I bought the
much better.
Bobo VR thing, but I didn't get the one with the battery pack. If I probably will eventually put a battery pack on it, but I actually like limiting
Mhm.
myself to 2 hours a day because otherwise then I'll never get anything
Yeah.
done.
It's-
So I'm kind of fine with
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. And I've lost 4.5 pounds since
Mhm.
I started playing Beat
Mhm.
Saber
That's
by doing
awesome.
nothing but that, just because it's ridiculously addictive.
okay, I may need to actually buy that then because I got some Christmas weight that needs to go bye-bye.
I
Way to
might
go,
s- I-
Jenna, by the way, you little minx you.
My goal was to spend a minimum of 45 minutes a day
Wow.
doing something fun that makes me sweat. So,
Mhm.
and that's what I've been doing.
There are not many things that do that.
No, but this does. It's
Not,
it's ridiculous.
not by yourself, it doesn't.
Well, I
Just
was thinking
saying.
even
Mhm.
45 minutes. No.
Well, I figured out how many
No, I'm
songs
not even
that
going
is.
there. Not even going there, Karen.
Yeah,
That's why we're all writing sweet stuff.
exactly.
Clean.
Yeah.
Unlike the erotic author that's sitting there.
Oh, you can do that on the Quest as well if you want to go hunting for it. There's plenty of apparently
For
plenty of
what?
VR porn
Oh.
out there. Yeah, there's apparently a lot of VR porn out there. I have not
Everything
looked for
starts
any of
with
it.
Porn. That's
Yeah.
how all of this stuff starts, is with porn.
Yeah, I haven't
It's gonna
looked
be
at
a
any of it
holosuite.
because
I swear it's a holosuite.
yeah, I'm not
I have
doing it,
no
but
idea.
I'm not tempted even. So
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
wouldn't
sort
want
of
it. I wouldn't
tempted
want to have
just
anything
because-
to do with it. That just
Yeah.
feels like we're losing our humanity or something.
Yeah.
I don't even go on and
Slimy.
chat with other people that I don't know. I mean, I'm not even doing that
Mhm.
because apparently that's no, I'm
Mhm.
not doing that.
I don't,
But-
yeah, I hardly get out of my house, get real.
I'm just gonna go on and use my lightsabers to break boxes. It's just
Vanquish.
yeah. And I've done Moonrider XYZ, which is very similar, only it's got more songs. But it's web based, so you have to go into the website and then you have to click to actually go into the VR. But it works really well, and it's got more songs, and so yeah, that might be the new addiction. That's fine. It is what it is.
I have, it's in the budget for next month. I don't think I could do it this month. You guys have talked me into it. I don't know. Do you guys do other
fun.
things so that we're not just sitting typing? What do you guys do for exercise?
Walk the
I do.
dog, yoga.
I do lots of weightlifting.
Oh,
Yeah, I walk the dog and I do hot Pilates. I used to do
Ooh.
hot yoga, but now I do hot Pilates.
I love hot yoga. I've never tried hot Pilates. I love the hot aspect.
I love the hot aspect too. I know I wasn't sure about the hot Pilates part, but but actually it's it works out pretty well because you can still get that stretching and everything. So
Yeah,
it's-
sweating, as gross as it is, feels so good when you're done.
it does. I know. Get it all out. Yes. So yes. And the nice thing about these, it's infernal Pilates is what it's called.
Wow.
It's like the nice thing is like it's all done with like 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest, and then they do 8 rounds of that, and then you do abs, and so it's a really compact workout, and you're not working out that much. You probably only have about 30 minutes on. The rest of it is all trying to recover.
Right.
I don't like breathing in hot air. That I don't know if I could do that. I don't mind the hot all
You
around
live
me,
in
but
Texas,
cold
don't you
air.
do that all the time?
oh, honey, we have about a week where it's like
It's-
breathing soup.
13 degrees here right now, and it was minus 13 when I got out of bed this morning. Trust me, we are not breathing in any hot air today.
Minus 13. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just hurts.
Yeah. You go outside and your face freezes, and no,
Everybody
the
had a
inside
good
of your
week.
nose freezes. Feels like your boogers froze.
Mhm.
Not a fan.
Yeah. All right, what's everybody working on today? Jenna's working on feeling better.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I actually did get some writing in. I have, I think, a chapter and a half to finish this last Deadly that I'm writing before I can start my new series. So I'm really happy about that.
Yay.
Well,
Mhm.
I will say that I am loving the Discord sprints. So thank you, Carolyn. So
How's that
I
working?
have been struggling and struggling and struggling just with the whole thing, but yeah, the sprints really, and that's the thing. It's like I guess maybe we can all relate, or maybe not. Maybe it's just me that's the idiot. But you're going along, and it's like that question about what would a 7-figure author do. it really helps, because then I look at, okay, the really successful authors, what do they do? Well, they either dictate, which I just don't think that's going to be for me, because I really hate editing, or they sprint. And I'm like, why am I not doing either? So maybe I should try it. So anyway, so I do love the sprinting.
Did you see Elena just posted in Indie Inspiration today? She put her her schedule, which I thought was really
that.
interesting.
Oh, no,
saw
I didn't
that.
see that. I got,
didn't
you know, I
see it.
should join that too. That's a great idea, and get her. Yeah, I didn't know she did that. I love that.
Oh, she's love her to pieces. She's so transparent too, and willing to say, here's how I do it.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll work for you, maybe it won't. I mean, but she
No,
lays it out
totally
hour
get
per
that.
hour, and how
How she
her
does
word
it.
count per day is higher than mine. That's for sure.
Oh,
Even
I know
on
her word count today is nuts. I'm so excited. Well, and your guys is the same thing. I'm going to say this, and because I'm bragging for myself, although the rest of you are thinking, oh my God, you're such a loser. I'm up to 2,500 words a day, and I am so excited about it.
Yeah.
This is great. So,
Wasn't it the Romance Writers of America years ago used to tell their members that if they did 1,000 words a month, wasn't it RWA that said
Oh
that?
my gosh.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking if you're doing 2,500 words a day, you're rocking the world.
That's awesome.
well, you know, if you can, that feels like something. The reason why I'm so excited about it is it feels like something sustainable, at least for me. And then that way I'm not going to burn out. But because I mean, if I was trying some of these like 5,000, 8,000 words a day, I just, you know, it would get to a point I don't think I could do it. So I wanted to find a word count that I thought I could comfortably do for the rest of my life without burning out. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was really happy at the beginning of the month, I was doing about that a day. And I got through a first draft really easily. Like I felt like the story just like flowed really well. And then I let it sit for a few days and I went back to it and I could see like really major problems. And I just kept sitting down every day. And I think I probably knew in the background that it wasn't shaping up like it should be, but I just kept going. Like I just wanted to get to the end. And when I was reading through, I got to about like chapter 8, like maybe a third of the way through it. And that was it. Like the rest of it is barely usable. So today I'm working on revisions, but it's a little frustrating.
that sucks.
Yeah. But I mean, the discipline and the habit of writing the same amount every day really works for me. But I think sometimes when I get off track, I have to like set aside some of the desire to like check off the box and actually like maybe slow down.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like yesterday, I only did 1,600 words, but it was more than that because I cut a bunch. But that's the thing. I went back and I get the same way. If I've got a scene that's wrong, I can't keep going. I have to go fix the scene because it's exactly that. If I kept going on a bad scene, then it's like the whole thing gets bad, and then I got to redo all of it. So I mean, I literally just. So yeah, I have to.
Yeah, I was like feeling the bad scenes, and I just ignored it because I was like, just want to get my word count in and just finish the rough draft. And sometimes that works for me, and the revisions aren't that bad, but these are just really.
Yeah, I think I'm throwing away an entire book I wrote 3 years ago. I got 50,000 words done, and I went back to try to read it, and it's dreadful. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even think this is salvageable. I think I'm just tossing this book.
Yeah, I've done that before too.
I've done it where I've hacked out scenes that I liked because I tend to string my scenes together like, and I'll have maybe the segues in between suck rocks and some of the other scenes, but I'll go ahead and pull it out, change the names and dump it into some other manuscript because,
Cool.
I'm that person who digs through their crisper drawer to find the dead vegetables to go make soup because I'll be damned if I'm going to throw them away. So I kind of do that. Karen's laughing at me, but I kind of do that with, the crappy books too, that I'm like, oh, this is crap. It's horrible. What can I salvage? Well, that sentence is okay. So
Mhm.
dead
I suppose
vegetable.
if I pared it down to sentences, maybe I could try it. I was thinking about sticking the whole thing up on Bella just to see what happened. Although it's only half done, but just to see if anybody read the thing. Then go from there.
Or you do what I do and you have a
Close to
throwaway pen name and you just chuck it in there with a really
You know,
great
I know
cover.
that's the thing. I'm like this close to thinking maybe I should just throw it up there and see what comments I get back. I mean, I could make up a cover and just, what the heck?
What the heck? Dorothy Appleton for the win.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a YA thing anyways, 'cause it's high school kids. I'm like, well, maybe.
Well, there you go. All right, and my VA was going to join us today, but her dog is sick and she had to take him to the vet. So. Oh, and I'm on the wrong. I'm going to wind up sending you guys notes that are destined for someone else. That's bad. All right, so how long till you guys publish your next book?
Mine's pre-order is 21st of February. My next one.
My pre-order is February 15th. No.
My next is 3/5, which isn't far away. It seems like March is far away, and it is not.
Mm.
Mine will be February 26th.
Coming up.
I don't have anything scheduled for super soon because I'm just trying to work through burnout.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten back to work. I was intending to get back to work this week. We had a day with my mother on Monday, which finally got her mostly completely settled in enough that we could, start pulling back. On Tuesday, my cousin's girlfriend called to tell me that my cousin's heart is dying and she has to go and have a double heart cath on next Wednesday with contrast to see if there's anything that they can do. If they can put stents in, they might be able to buy her a few more months. And she's younger than I am and needy on top of it and has multiple organ failure, multiple cancers. And so, I know we're getting close to the end, but that's a derailment because we spent yesterday down there. Aaron and my husband and I went down to see her. And then next Tuesday night, I have to go down and spend the night so that I can sit with her, well, she will be her wife by then because I paid for them to get married. And sit with her while the procedure happens, because you're not allowed to be at the hospital and she doesn't want to be sitting home alone if my cousin dies on the table, which is a possibility. So yeah,
I'm
there
so
goes,
sorry.
well, this has been coming for a while. It's not, but there goes another week,
I'm so sorry.
I'm not even going to try at this point to start, but I'm still making notes and I'm still working through plot and that'll be fine. It'll be okay.
I'm sorry, Regina.
Thanks.
Yeah,
It's
that really
been
is hard.
a while. She's been battling cancer now for a couple of years.
This is your cousin you visited
Yeah.
recently?
Yeah. And I call her my needy cousin because she is. I mean, I love her, but she was a spoiled
Sure.
brat growing up and she's still a spoiled brat and dying isn't going to change that. So, but I'm happy to go down and do things for her. And I went down and, we took them out to lunch and got them out of the house and talked about, things and got them laughing and smiling because they needed to not be mired in the possibility of her death for at least a day. And so, and I paid for, I gave them money to pay for a Justice of the Peace wedding because that's what they want to do. So I'm happy to do that for them. I feel like it's the least I can do. So
Very sweet.
yeah, I don't have many family left, so you gotta take care of them when you can.
I think you do a great job with that. It
Yeah,
was
we try.
amazing to me when we got together as a group, how many of us had things the last couple of years that were people passing away or caring for parents or, just really serious things that we were dealing with family and loved ones. So you guys inspire me to get my biscuits going and not have things suck. So thank you, but I'm sorry you're going through tough times.
well, this is, you know, like I said, it's been coming. She's been battling cancer. This has been,
Mm.
not to be, not to sound callous, but I've had probably 10 frantic communications from her or her girlfriend that she's dying in the past 2 years. And she hasn't
Aw.
died yet. And I don't want her to die, but at the same time, there's a cry wolf thing that goes on every time I get one of these calls. And I think maybe this time it's getting actually closer, but it's, you know, it's one of those things where you have the decreasing response. You know, the first time it's like, oh my God, oh my God. And then as it goes, as that happens more and more often, then you get to be like, okay, I'll be down. We'll see what's happening. And, you know, it's sort of, you've died so many times on me now that your imminent death is concerning. And yet, you know, maybe this is another one of those. I don't know. This time I'm going to be there when the doctor calls, though. So at least I'll have some firsthand knowledge of what's happening, which I'm going to appreciate.
It's nice you're going to be with her wife though when she's in there. That's great.
Yeah. She shouldn't sit home alone and have to hear bad news. I don't think that's right. And she's very upset. And she's also kind of a risk because right before they got together, she tried to commit suicide. So I kind of don't want to,
Mm.
you know, if there's something I can do to be helpful there, I think I want to do it. So, but that's going to mean another week where I don't write, and that's fine. Or maybe
Hey.
more depending on what happens, but
I freaking love that about your personality, Regina. I think you're just an amazing person. And I mean, who else would you want in your corner but you? They're really lucky to have you.
oh, thank you. I
Who's
tried.
got the squeaky ball?
I'm
Not my
sorry, I'm
dog.
trying to keep it
That was
mute.
so good.
I keep muting it because she's going crazy.
No, I was wanting to pet
I
Bonnie's
love it.
dog too.
Bonnie's dog is adorable.
Anybody having any problems this week they want to talk about that they could use support or advice? Am I
Blood
talking
pressure
too much?
medication for the rankings thing this week, maybe?
Yeah, poor Michelle. Well, I
Yeah,
have
that
a question
was-
about.
Well, oh, I was gonna say, one of the things that I tried to post this morning was to tell y'all that, well, I never have any idea how the one day that I put the book on for free, I don't have any idea how my rank was. The whole day it never changed, and then the next day, of course, it wasn't free, so I never knew.
I
what
was
happened.
we were wondering
Um,
about that. So that's probably,
but-
yeah, I was wondering, we didn't see that.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, I have a really ignorant
But
question
I
about
did
rankings.
check, mhm.
Go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry.
I did check real quick, and those stupid reviews finally got fixed. So, I mean, I was making sure I clicked every time it would increase by one, it would increase like all six of them by one. So I made sure I took a ton of pictures just in case Amazon tried to say it was me, you know, trying to get reviews or whatever. So I made sure I took a picture, and I had a ton of pictures that showed all 6 books with these huge reviews, and every single time one would change, they all would change. So,
That's
but
weird.
it's now fixed.
That's good.
So that's good. I know it was crazy. But
Well, the ranking is not, I mean, it's down to 12,000 for, which still doesn't make any sense to me because that's Murder Before Christmas. It's 99 cents this week. And so it's, but I mean, I've sold, I don't know. Anyways, but at least it's heading in the right direction. And so I don't know what it is. And my new release is still pathetic at 45,000. And I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about that. But oh well, I'm never doing this again. My next release is in April. So like I said, I'm slower than all of you, but still moving away. Anyways, what was your question, Carolyn? And thank you all for listening to me, even though I had my little rant, and sorry, I
Oh,
probably sucked up the energy or sucked everything up, the oxygen a little bit too much, but I'm better now.
Oh, my question was, there was a lot of talk about rankings, and I probably just missed it, but were people seeing are you guys using something like Book Report or something else that is showing the sales are there, the page reads are there, but the ranking on Amazon was not moving. Were you getting?
Yeah, I
info
was
on the
looking at
sales?
Amazon reports. I was looking at Amazon actual reports
Yeah.
and using like, you know, the KDP calculator, which is more or less okay. And
Yeah.
then the downloads, I was doing, you know, page reads divided by, you know,
If it was a
so-
full book read, yeah.
Yeah, so
So that looked normal.
so so all of that, so that stuff was showing up correctly, but it's just I mean, I've sold like 150 books this week of The Murder Before Christmas, and my rank
Awesome.
is at 12,000. That's what I mean. I mean, it doesn't really make, and that doesn't even include downloads, KU downloads, who knows what that is. So,
But do the
that's
readers look at that?
no, it doesn't matter for readers. It matters because that's how Amazon feeds you into. I mean, first of all, you get on the list. So people are checking the list, they see it. But then the second thing is that's how Amazon will actually present books to other readers. So if you rank high in the rankings, then Amazon is more likely
Okay.
to see a reader to present your book. So if you don't get your rank, if it screws up your rankings, you're missing that entire, you know, Amazon, that free marketing that Amazon does for you. And so that's the real bummer with the whole thing. And having my new book, you know, now this is the honeymoon period for the
Mhm.
first 30 days. And so the fact that the rank sucks, it's like, well, but you know,
It'll
you
screw up
can't.
a whole launch.
Exactly. And that's kind of what it is. And I'm just like, and it's really kind of a bummer because I'm getting the reviews back from my readers and they like the first book in the series, The Murder Before Christmas, but they really like this one. So this
Yay.
looks like I did it. I know. So
That's
they love
awesome.
this one and they're already pre-ordering the second book. But it doesn't matter because the rank sucks, but oh well.
So they're pre-ordering number 3 then.
They're pre-ordering number 3 with no cover. I've never done that before. I put it up without
Black
a cover.
cover. It's gonna be fabulous.
Yeah. So there's no cover, but there is a description. So that part I can do. But yeah, they're pre-ordering. So I'm happy. So I'm very overall I'm happy. It's just I just wonder the long-term health of this book. You know, that's what you kind of have to wonder. But there's nothing you can do about it. So
But the readers are loving it.
yeah.
So that's awesome.
So, and what I'm doing for the free book, which I started to do anyways before Regina said anything, and now I'm glad I'm doing it. So now that I find Amazon screws up rank between now and January 30, you know, the end of the month. And when is my book pub? January 31st. Yay! So
You should be good by then. You should be good by then.
I hope so. I'm actually starting on Friday. I decided to actually do the whole 5 days free, and I actually bought some other newsletter
Stack it.
stuff. Yeah, and so this is good because now I'll have 3 days for Amazon to like, you know, so hopefully it won't be a Jenna thing where it's like the whole thing just disappears. So I'll actually have a few days where it'll actually rank for the book pub. So
Yeah, there's usually a wonky period at the end of January because I've released 3 books during that period that all 3 had the same, and I made notes
Mhm.
finally and said, don't do this again. Don't do it. And then February, there's going to be another one because that's the 6-month thing. So February and October, you tend to see some algo shifts because that's when they tweak generally. If they've
Yeah.
screwed with things, you know, if they've been screwing with things and have something major going on, then that's mitigated. But just be aware that you could see some crap going on.
So all of
Around
you
the
with
middle of
February
February.
releases, you have my sympathy, and if you need to rant, I'm here for you.
Usually that's less with rankings than it is with just other things. That's when they usually fiddle with like CanP numbers because you know
Mhm,
they like
yes.
to change those.
Every year, the
yeah.
bastards.
And so that happens generally, I mean, just based on my notes, February and October. So just be warned, it'll happen. Probably, maybe not this year. Maybe they screwed with it now and they won't do it then, but I trust it not.
The voice of experience.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm not doing a release in February. I'm doing a prequel reader magnet because it's all your guys' fault for making me do it right. which yay. So I'm going to do a prequel to Ravenwood that's going to be set in the 1950s, and I'm, like 20,000 words, put it up for BookFunnel for reader appreciation and also for getting the people to sign up. How many people are doing the BookFunnel promo this weekend?
Yep.
I just haven't gotten my book up, Sarlena. Stephanie. I need to put that on my list. I'll release probably again in March, though.
I had a cross promo today with another group that MailerLite decided to screw all the links that people are sending out in their emails today. Oh, goody. So then I had to send a second email with a copy paste link and say, they're saying that they're going to get it fixed. And if you wait a little while and click on it again, it'll probably be okay. But if you just want to copy and paste this link. So now I've had to send 2 emails and I have to send another one tomorrow for the other thing. My readers are going to be like, bitch, please leave me alone. But that's okay.
I saw that problem with MailerLite because I do a Thursday weekly newsletter, and I thought I had various links in mine, and I checked them and they were all working because I send myself my news. I'm on my own newsletter list and check the links. So they seem to be working. I think they fixed it quite quickly because they sent me the alert there was a problem, and I signed up for updates and got an almost immediate, this has now been fixed. So I'm hoping, I didn't get any messages from readers saying, oh, your links were faulty. So hopefully it wouldn't have impacted. Oh, okay.
I got one.
Maybe
there was always that one person. There's always that one person.
I started a Amazon ad for the first time in like a long time. And I just checked today because we're gonna have this meeting, and I have a $10 a day budget, and it spent 99 cents over the past 5 days. And I had 2 clicks.
Wow.
Like, oh wow. So I'm not gonna get the information that I was hoping for. Thought it was gonna be this great information gathering process, and yeah.
Takes a while. That's the thing. Unless you set the bids really high, it's gonna just take a little while.
I did exactly what she said in the book, or her suggested bid was to start at 50 cents. And I have this running on a box set, so I figured I could do that because it's a little more for each read through of the box set. And I'm thinking, well, 50 cents is probably really common. Like I should try a little higher to outbid all the other people doing 50 cents, I guess. I don't know if there's any recommendations about that.
Yeah, I've heard people say do slightly odd numbers. So do like 51 or 49 or 57 rather than the round numbers, because everyone goes, oh, I'll do 50 or 25. So I don't know if it works. I do all different kinds. But yeah, that's what some of the experts have said.
Cool. I'll bump it up a little bit.
Yeah, bump it up to 51, see what happens.
And see, maybe I'll try 50.
Yeah, it'll take off at 51.
The other thing you can do, you can check, like, because I found that when I use lower bids, I tend to get most of my movement at night after everybody else has exhausted all of their money. And so you can kind of keep an eye on when you're seeing bumps in impressions and stuff. It's a pain, but you can go in and look at it a couple of times a day. Just sort of make a note to do that for a couple of days and see. Then if you want to score better during the day, I actually find that readers are more active at night anyway. So I'm fine with letting people go and spend up all their money during the day. You know what? Go ahead, do it. And then I will pick up the low hanging fruit at night. And that's probably how I have cheap, profitable ads. However, that's not really scalable, and it doesn't really push. I mean, it's nice to have profitable ads and it's nice to have that visibility, but it doesn't push it enough. You know, it's not quite. But I would do, what I plan to do is leave some like that and then do some not competing, but you know, do some that are a little bit more aimed at the daytime traffic, and I see how that works.
So Regina, do you look at your impressions, say first thing in the morning and then last thing at night, and see how many impressions you've had during that time period, and then work out the budget spending later on? Is that how you do it?
Yeah, that's how I did it. And
Okay.
also I discovered that, because you can go in and when your ad earns out, when it pays out, when it, you know, oh, you have so many ads that are at the end of their budget or whatever.
Mm.
And if you forget, like I do a lot, and don't bother look until like 11 o'clock at night, you can see how many hours prior to that you ran out of money. So that's
Okay.
also helpful to have an idea of when, if that's a consistent thing that you're seeing every day, that you ran out of money at noon, well, you know, then that's a pretty good indication you probably need to throw more money at it. But if you're running out of money at, you know, 11:15 every night, okay, whatever, that's fine. But it does help. I don't know if it's a really useful data point, but it told me that I was actually spending more at night than I was during the day. So that was interesting, because I wasn't getting the visit. Everybody was outbidding me during the day. And then there was like this weird period from, say, supper time until just before bedtime where my ads went nuts. And then they all ran out like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but I was just curious, and that's what I checked for.
Interesting.
That's really interesting.
Well, I wanted to prove that because somebody said that's what was happening. So I wanted to prove it. So I went and looked, you know, that's fine. I'd like to spend more as long as I'm making more, but
Regina, how many ads are you running on AMS at one time? Hi,
I run
sweetie.
2 ads per series right now, and then 2 ads for brand protection for the 2 pen names. So generally, and I'm not running, right now I'm focused mainly on the KU books, but I do have maybe 1 or 2 ads for each other series, but I do one that's aimed at authors and one that's aimed at books, book titles and book series titles. And then I throw random genre keywords in with one of those, depending on, you know, because I don't want to do a third one because I'm too lazy to set up a third ad. So I combine that with one of those 2 things, depending on, generally I do it, I think, with the authors one, because I think it's more useful data. And that helps me tell, and it's taught me kind of a lot, because what I discovered doing that is, and this flips occasionally throughout the year, but one ad will do really well on KenP and the other one will do better in sales. So authors do better for me with, at least it was, I have to look again, but it was the book ads, the ones that I aimed at book titles and books and series titles, weren't doing dick for KenP. And the author ones were, but the other one was doing better for sales. So I don't know why that would be. It doesn't even make any sense to me, but I don't know if it's, I don't know why it's like that, but it was overwhelming, and it was both pen names, both KU series. So I just thought that was a weird thing to see too.
Very interesting.
So I'm curious to see if I, you know, because I don't really talk to people that are doing AMS that much. So I'm curious if that's just me or if that's just something, or because if nobody else divides up their ads that way, it probably isn't really a relevant data point for anybody then.
Karen, you run quite a few AMS ads, don't you?
I do. Not sure how many I've got live at the moment. I can have a look. I've got my dashboard open somewhere. I'll have a look. See, I've run ads in the US mainly, but also UK, and I'm just playing around with Canada. At the moment, I've got about 10 ads running in America and probably about 5 or 6 in the UK. And they're a bit of a mixture. So I'm testing different variations on what you can put in the ads. So I've been trying some micro targeting ads, which Janet recommends in her book, which is where you pick one author and you can either just target her name, his name, or you can target series names and book titles. And so I've got 2 micro targeting ads running, and they just have the author name, the series name, and the book title names, just to test those to see if micro targeting switches on the ad faster, because it's such a specific niche that you're trying to reach. But I've only been running those. One I've been running for about 2 weeks, and one I literally turned on about 3 or 4 days ago, just because someone came through on a BookBub that did culinary cozies, and I thought, I'm going to target you with my culinary cozy series and just see what happens. So they're quite new. They haven't really done much. One of them has just started to turn a profit, but very small numbers of clicks. And yeah, it's not exactly flying, but I usually leave any add on for at least a month to give it a good chance to get some traction and get a decent number of impressions as well. If it's got under 1,000 impressions, it's not really a relevant source of data. So you just have to sometimes wait for the impressions to mount up before you can start interpreting what you've got. And so that can be a bit slow sometimes.
Every time you want to change something about your ad, do you need to duplicate it and then start a new ad, or can you just tweak an ad that's already running?
You can, yeah, just tweak. You can go in and change the daily budget, or you can change the individual cost per click on a target, or you can change it from dynamic up and down bids to fixed bids. You can change pretty much anything you like on an ad. Yeah, don't need to duplicate and start again.
I never saw that. People say, oh, if you touch it, it will kill the ad and then you have to start a new one. I've never had that be the case.
No, I've never either.
No, I have some really old ads that I have tweaked that are completely different now than they were when they started, and they still tick right along. So I've never experienced that. And can't even begin to think why that would happen, but, and I'm not discounting somebody's.
Go
ahead.
I absolutely loathe the fact that you cannot change or that you cannot delete the ad like that. And it's because I'm so compartmentalized. When I go on there and I close down an ad and I can't delete it out, that really bothers me. And
you can set it not to show those though. You can set it to only show the active ones, which I do, because I agree with you. That makes my OCD stuff go. Yeah, you can set that. If you set it to just show the active ads, yep, in the filter, active status equals enabled, that will just show what the ads that you're using right now, which will then calm that. Trust me, I totally get you.
Yeah,
I don't want to see all that
exactly.
stuff.
Visual enabled. That's how I set it up too. So you can only, you're right. I know they're talking about being able to get rid of it somehow. You can also archive them and they disappear too.
Yeah. What I wish they would let you do is remove keywords instead of just pausing them, because I've got ads.
I do too, because then you have to, otherwise you run out of room.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so what I did with that, I don't know if it's good to say this because I hope other people do it too. If I run out of room, even though I've got a bunch of them paused, I will add a second ad group to the same ad with the same books and everything and start adding new keywords to it. But I found that those don't work as well. The secondary groups never actually pick up, the second ad group doesn't pick up. So it makes me wonder if there's some sort of bias to that, or if maybe it's just only my experience and not everybody else has the same thing. But I have at least 2 ads that are old enough that I have tested enough keywords that I've maxed them out, and so I just add a second ad group with the same, and so I keep the same budget. And it seemed to me like that would be a good way to handle it, but I don't think that it's working.
I don't think that Jan, I thought Janet said how to do that, and she didn't say that, but now I don't remember. Crap. I thought she did cover that, and now I'm trying to remember what it.
Oh, good. I haven't gotten to that point in the book yet, so I'm hoping that I do, because I can tell you that didn't work well.
Well, I didn't read it in the book because I need to get her book and read it, but I thought I'm almost positive she covered it in one of the videos, but now I can't remember. There's so damn
Maybe.
many videos. I don't know if I can find it again, but. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I also wish we could get rid of books that we unpublished on Amazon
Yes.
as well.
Oh, yeah.
Preach it, sister, preach it.
And also I wish we could move things around and not see stuff like I mean, there's so much stuff and it's just like,
All
ugh.
my old smut.
I know. Oh yeah, you've got that. And I've got old entrepreneurial books that I was like, I had a chapter in because these were years ago and I was stupid. And I'm like, and those nobody's even buying those books. It's like, why can't I just get rid of them off my author profile and just be done with them?
Now you're just talking crazy talk. If we were in charge of Amazon.
I know. Or at least if have it so we don't have to see it. If they want it connected with us, I guess for reasons, but why do we need to look at it? Why can't we just put it like in a door, in a room somewhere and shut the
Why
door?
also can't they make it so that when you sort your dashboard the way you want it sorted, you don't have to do
Exactly,
it
you can
every
see it. Right.
freaking time you go back in there?
I know,
and
or
you
you
have
have
to
to dig
switch from
through
one
and
page to
find a
another.
book.
Oh.
Yeah, it takes
Mm.
forever. I know. And I don't even have as many books as some of you guys. I can't
Yeah.
imagine, like you have 50 books. Yeah, how do you get anything done? You're spending all your time looking through your dashboard.
It's
We've got a bunch of
ridiculous.
people have over 50, I think, at this point. I don't know, Regina, how many do you have out?
I don't know. Really don't. I think I don't know. I'm gonna have to look now that you said that.
One thing I just learned, because I'm slow at this, but there's a little teeny tiny search bar. So now I go when I need to find a book, I just searched for the title.
Mhm.
Just
Mm.
pop it up that way.
It definitely helps get it where you want it to go.
Mm.
I'm so computer illiterate. I'm really proud of myself. I'm like, woohoo, look at me.
New skills are good. Yeah, I have 27 books, it looks like now, 27 stories, not counting bundles under Carolyn. So that's
Oh my
that's
God.
new for me. Yeah. Not bad for taking 2 years off.
I'm not gonna be able to tell you because I have my dashboard as large prints that are not attached, and I don't count that, so I don't know. I don't know. It's too many variations. Actual, I don't know.
I'm just waiting for my AMS dashboard, ads dashboard to updates because my credit card had expired and I hadn't gone in and looked. And so it's been sitting there saying, you owe us 79 cents. We're not going to let you do
As long as
jack.
they didn't send you a bunch of nasty grams about it.
If they did, I must have, I don't, it's been defunct. It's a freaking old credit card. I haven't started back up those ads. I had one running on First in Series. I mean, I have ads from 17, so it's been a long time that thing's been sitting there on their books at 79 cents. I don't know. We'll see how soon they get that going again. I'm not holding my breath. I have to work my way through the book and make sure I'm doing. I appreciated, Karen, you're saying about the 1,000. I think you were the one who said about if you have 1,000 impressions, that then you can actually get the data on how it's paying for itself and stuff like that. Because I'm a person who always wants to go in and tweak too soon.
Mm. Yeah, do leave the ads for a bit. Janet says maybe tweak a couple of times a month and have a look. I have a really brief look every Friday just to make sure nothing's gone crazy or is spending out of control or anything weird's going on. So I do a quick check on a Friday, and then on the 15th and last day of every month, I do a more in-depth analysis. So I'll go and download the reports, go through all the key words, search terms, check impressions, see what's spending, what isn't, and what needs tweaking. So I only do the sort of big in-depth look at the ads twice a month and make big changes. I may make a little change if I'm looking on a Friday and something seems to have died, or I see what does Janet call them? Something, she uses this term, but basically surprise keywords that are spending really well and you're getting lots of sales. And I will add that to a keyword list and make it a specific keyword, but otherwise I tend to just leave it alone and just make changes twice a month, because then you get the chance for your impressions to build up and you can get a bigger picture, clearer picture of what's going on.
That's
Do you
really
call
smart
them-
because then you're not also changing too quickly, because if you change
Yeah.
too quickly, that's a problem. And Regina, I wanted to ask, have you tried archiving keywords?
I haven't tried archiving them yet. I'm gonna, but just shutting them off. Anything that I've done so far doesn't actually make space for
Make
new
space?
ones. So I don't know if that would help or not.
Yeah, I mean, because if you click on it and hit archive, I don't know if that would actually have it disappear, so you have a spot
Yeah.
or not, but
I will
yeah.
test that out and find out. So do you cull keywords from campaigns and then start new campaigns with just the best keywords? Because I did that once and it didn't really do it didn't really help a lot. The new ad didn't actually equal up to the old ads and I should have just left it alone. Because of course, when I culled them, the good ones from the old ads, I turned them off in there and put them into their, own separate ads, thinking that would make that ad more relevant, but that isn't what happened. Some of
Yeah,
them
I
just
tend-
died.
I tend to keep, if it's an auto ad that's generated good keywords, I'll leave that running, but I will move the manual, I'll do a manual keywords ad and move them into a new ad. And I asked them, because the KDP University, they often do live chats and training. And I asked one of the reps there if the two ads conflict with each other or they compete to get the slot, and apparently they don't. So if you do leave that ad running with the same keyword and start a new one, you're not putting yourself at a disadvantage by doing that. So that's what I do.
Well, that's good to know. I thought it did compete because that's what Janet said in the videos, and I spent days trying to clean out and go through and sort so I wouldn't have multiple keywords on different ones. Well, I'm glad to hear that now.
I think they in the book, Janet says don't have multiples of the same keyword in the same ad. That's not
that's
a good
the problem.
move, but it's fine to have them in separate ads,
Separate ads.
apparently.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood, but I remember I spent way too much time on it.
How recent
there
is
is
her
con-
information?
There is conflicting information out there. Some people do
Oh.
say never use the same keywords, even in different ads. But if I heard it from the Amazon rep and
Yeah.
Janet, then I'm hoping that they're telling the truth.
This one is 2021.
I'm just wondering, and when's the last time she
copyright.
worked for Amazon?
Yeah.
It wasn't, I think she says in here like a couple years ago, I think she says.
I will tell you guys, I paid an insane amount of money to do consulting with her, and we stopped halfway through because her ads were not making any money. And she said Amazon had changed things and she didn't want to keep charging me until she figured it out.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Oh, wow, is right.
When was that? Before or
Um,
after she wrote the book?
It was fall of 2020.
Okay, well.
Oh,
there you
yeah,
go.
this is, 2021.
Yeah, this is new, isn't it? This only came out
Mhm.
3-4 months ago, I think.
Oh, it's new. I didn't realize that. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
this-
All right,
this
well,
is-
then I better get on it.
2021.
Yeah.
But my
That-
question was, is her information, the book may be new, but is her information, we all know twice a year changes from Amazon.
Mm.
Are you guys
Mhm.
finding good results with what she says in the book? It sounds like, Karen, you've really analyzed, I think you're on your second read through the book, and
Mm.
is her stuff current?
It makes sense to me, and I wish I'd had it when I first started with the ads experiment, because it's very logical what she tells you to do and go through and test and then wait and see. So her method is definitely one I'll be using going forward, and some of her troubleshooting tips as well, to see if I can get the ads to spend more and have more relevant targeting. One thing I'm still not 100% sure of, even though people have talked about it loads of times and I've read through the book, is how to manage the portfolio and the different levels of when you go look at the dashboard, you click on the ad and then you click again. And I've still not got my head around the different layers of ads and what people use portfolios for. So I don't know if anyone uses portfolios, how they use them, and if they
I
find
do.
them useful.
I
Yeah.
do find it useful. That's the biggest thing that it took me a while. Because in December, when my ad suddenly went berserk and started spending and spending more than I thought. What I did was I went and I split it all through by books. So I've got a campaign for It Began, well, I call it IBWO, which is It Began with a Lie, which is one series. So I've got, so it's basically, and then another one for the Charlie series. And then for the standalones, all have their own. So I have about 5 campaigns. And then I've got budget set for every single one of those. So I've got the daily budget, but the thing is that the daily budget, as you all know, most of the time Amazon doesn't spend anything. And that's kind of what was happening with me. It's like, oh, well, I got it set for $100 a day, but it's spending like, $2. So I'm not paying attention. But what happens if Amazon does start to spend it? And you're like, holy crap. So that way having a second, so everything's back down to like 5 or, I backed everything way down, but yeah, so now I've got campaign budgets, and that way I can see like, okay, so I was able to, when I did that, when I actually split everything into different campaigns, it made it a lot easier for me to figure out which series were more profitable with the ads. I couldn't figure that out before, because now I can look at it through a month and then combine that to what's going on there. So that's what I do, is I split it off that way. And then I've got that extra level of another budget, another hard stop in case things go nuts again. So then I don't have to worry so much. Is that your question, or did I answer something you already knew?
It partially answered it. Janet was talking in the book about she'll have a portfolio of all the book ones in her different series, and so she'll have that portfolio and a budget for that, and then she'll have a different portfolio for, say, group ads, where she puts all the books into a single ad per series and then has them all listed under that. And I couldn't quite see the benefit.
I don't organize it that way. I organize it so I do have book ones, and then I have ads with all 5 books, and I put those under the series book. So to me, that's how I've organized it. So I have a campaign. So my campaign, so my IBWL is is the It Began with a Lie singles. It's the Secrets, the 3-book series, and it's the 5 books one. So that's how I did it. So everything having to do with that series is in this one campaign. So it's really easy to see what's going on with, with the books. And then it's also really easy to track, because that was the other thing too. It's like sometimes, campaigns, it's hard to tell, but then overall you're like, okay, I'm spending $12 a day on It Began with a Lie and I'm making 40. Okay, well, we're good. So, so that's, otherwise it was just too hard for me to try to keep a handle on that. So, but I think doing it book ones and book 5s, I don't know. I mean, to me, what's really helped me with the campaigns is being able to more easily track what's the overall ROI. Like, because I mean, we all know that Amazon's ad cost is lacking, and this way I can I can have a global view of it. But I mean, book ones, it's like, how would you track that? How would you track the groups? I think that would just, I don't see how that would do anything for me. Grouping them like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a really pertinent question too, because as a person who's really has not dug into AMS ads at all, I look at, okay, I've got 15 books in a series. I'm going to advertise for first in series. If it's, it shows that it's not making as much money as, as what I'm spending. But if I can get a certain amount of people into the series, I'm really going to have to dig into what the break in
series. Exactly.
Yeah, what's my read through and
then what you do is right. And then I started to actually group it with the income. It's like all the books instead of just the one, because you also don't know. And the 5-book stuff, or like even putting all 15 books in an ad actually works out well, because Amazon, I don't know this for a fact, but I feel like when I watch the stuff that Amazon goes around and finds people who bought a couple of those books in the series and then will present your book to them. I don't think Amazon presents book 3 to somebody who hasn't read anything. I think they present book 3 to somebody who read book 1 and book 2 and just hasn't found book 3 yet. So to me, I think that's why those group ones work so well, because I feel like you're giving Amazon a chance to retarget your readers. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I put all of mine in. I didn't start having ads that were profitable until I put all the books in them. And I did that, I think, based on something in that SPF class. And I put the paperbacks and the Kindle books all in the same ad. And everybody started yelling about how your paperbacks are going to, seeing the paperback sales is going to dilute. No, it actually doesn't. Because if I pulled the paperbacks out once and put them in their own separate ad. And then that died and didn't do a damn thing. And I never sold another paperback off the ads. So I shut that thing off and turned them all back on and said, to hell with you. I'm going to do what I was doing because it worked. So, but I think that doing a first in series, because I have wide books that are perma-free. If I were doing that, I would do that just a portfolio just for those wide free books. So I could see how much I was spending on books that weren't making anything. So I wouldn't panic, but I think both of those, there's ways of taking those portfolios and making it work. I don't think there's any one way. I think it's more of how you're structured, and I think it works. I think you can adapt
how you
it.
process. That's probably
Yeah.
true. How you process stuff. Like with me, I'm trying to look at the overall series and how but you're right, because you can easily just trying to one book doesn't, is too difficult. But
I'm going to test out doing just like the micro ad you were talking about for one of my first in series wide free books, and just chuck some money at one of the free books, targeting just a few terms like free books maybe, and see what happens. Because I haven't done that yet. So that's kind of you've inspired me to try that.
Yeah, it's one of the things, the back of this book, Janet's got some like troubleshooting tips. Yeah, tips, tricks and troubleshooting. And that's one of the things she suggests. If your ad's not doing anything, you're getting low impressions, low spend, you can do two things. You can either ramp up the cost per click, so just increase what you're prepared to spend per click, or you can try the micro targeting and go really small and specific. So create a new ad just with that one name, some book titles or series name, or a combination of the three, and see if that works. I probably the two I'm targeting, I don't know, one's definitely not obscure, and I am getting some sales off of that now. But I think the BookBub, if you probably all signed up to the BookBub daily deals ads, they're great to find people who are on sale or free, because then you can set up an ad immediately and be targeting their book when it's zooming up the ranks and getting in the top 1,000 or whatever in the whole of the Amazon store and #1 in all the cozy charts, and you can be in the sponsored carousel on the front page. That's something I did want to mention, thinking about the carousel ads. Janet said that 70% of people who are searching on Amazon, they never click onto the second page on the carousel ads. So if you're not on that first page of the ads, you're pretty much wasting your money, because people will not see your book. Which I was quite shocked about, because you sometimes have to pay a lot of money to get on the big hitters pages. So sort of thinking about Amanda M. Lee and Annabelle Chase, people like that, you're probably having to pay maybe $2 a click to get on that first page of the carousel. And they probably very sensibly do defensive brand ads themselves. So if you're trying to go up against Amanda and outbid her, you're probably not going to make it. But yeah, that was a bit of a shocking statistic, because I've been doing these with the micro targeting ads and going and having a look to see where I show up on the carousel. Usually I'm managing to get on the first page, but I imagine that you would have to spend quite big to do that for certain.
I think that's a good place to target mid-listers.
Yeah, exactly.
I would target
mid-listers,
and we do the same thing in terms of the BookBub. Erin goes through in the morning, because this is something she likes to do, and she goes through, she gets all BookBub free books and a whole bunch of different ones, and she will send me lists of keywords, lists of people to put in first thing in the morning, and I'll go in and add and check and see if they're in there and add them, or sometimes adjust the bids or something. But that isn't that's what we were doing for a while. It sucks up time.
Yeah, it does.
And it's fine to find new
Mhm.
people and to add them, and I just add them and leave them alone, but it's nice to piggyback off of their spend. Because generally Amazon hasn't figured out that they should charge more money for these people just
Mm.
based on a book club one day. So you're getting
Yeah.
real cheap clicks for these guys. And that's nice if you can catch it at first thing in the morning and, you
Mm.
know, but that's something that's something you shuttle off to a PA or something, because that's a time suck right there. But it is worth it.
Wow. So how can you make a profit? Like if it's $2 a click, how would you make a profit off that? I mean,
Yeah, through
Well, if
through
you're
read through.
Tegan,
read through.
yeah, Tegan's got what she was saying is $64 if they do
Yeah.
the whole series. So then if you spend $10 to get the first book, you know, and you have an 80 to 90% read through, it'd be worth it. So. But yeah, you need a decent read through. And a
So do you
lot
guys
of-
track your read through over like a
Because-
30-day period, or do you track your read through for lifetime?
I've done both or over a year. I try to do it because, you know, I mean, I'm a little different because I don't, I don't release as often. So to me, I try to look for longer periods of time.
Because I have one series that the lifetime read through sucks. And the 30-day read through right now is over 100% because it's had a new release. And so these numbers that taught me real quick that these numbers are pretty variable. It's like, yeah, okay. Because if I looked at the lifetime read through, I wouldn't advertise that book at all. But the 30, 60, 90-day read through is fantastic. So it's a little weird.
I think if you release lower, if you're a slower releaser, I think I think that's part of it as well. I think if you release more frequently, you're going to have better numbers. I usually look for a year, not always lifetime. And so over a year, it usually averages out better than, I haven't checked lifetime. That's an interesting one though.
You see, I have series that are finished that have lifetime read throughs that are fantastic. I mean, they're 90% or whatever, because they've had time to accrue that data. But the current series that I'm working in, I've decided that data could be somewhat specious because it is so variable. Because if you look at it, because you're releasing, every time you release a book, you get a little burst of sales for the books behind it. And so it just skews everything. And so it's just weird.
It is hard when you do quite fast releasing it's hard to get a really accurate read through, like you say, Regina, because you get this over 100% read through, which it doesn't exist, but it clearly does if you do you put the data in. So looking at the longer time periods, I do a 30-day check on read through for series, but then I look at longer periods as well, just to help average out and even out those peaks which you get when you do the new releases. So that definitely helps.
Both of the series that we're currently writing in are ugly for long-term read through and really great for short-term read through. And then all of the finished series are fantastic because they've had all kinds of time for people to catch up. So it's one of those things like, well, okay, well, that's a guideline. You don't want to put a huge amount of stock in right now, but at least it's good to know. It's a good data point, but it's scary when you, it's like, I don't know whether I'm going to make money off this ad or not now, because, based on the historical thing, no. And based on the current thing, of course. So I'm just going to do it and then and hope for the best. Because I'm not doing anything else, so I might as well.
I admire, Karen, the fact that you're going through and doing very disciplined. It's like, okay, I do my newsletter on Friday. I know I do on the 15th and the 30th that I'm doing, checking my ads or whatever. I think that's really inspiring because I've been really loosey-goosey about and almost afraid to look at the numbers in case it's going to make me feel sad. But, and I've never done, there she is. Hey, Tegan. So I don't do, I guess I've done lifetime, but it's been so long since I've done read through. I probably have half of my series that I don't know what the read through is. So that's one thing's I'm going to take several days off in Fort Worth, and then I'm coming back and going to do some calculating because I don't know.
And there's a useful equation in the book that shows you how you can add in your KEMP reads to your sales to help show a more accurate ACOS, because some of my ACOS numbers are hideous and they look, 400-500% because the read through and the page reads aren't included. And I haven't done that stat yet, but when I did I had a chat with Janet and she said, oh look, you've got like a 50% ACOS in this one when you do this sum, and I had no idea. So that's something I'm going to add into my regular monitoring. But I will say, Carolyn, I've only really just last year I did a thing with Nick Erickson and Lee Savino where they did a planning and strategy event, and I used their methods. And it's really only since last year have I really been tracking numbers and tracking promos, and I found that my income's gone up by 1/3 as a result. So I know it sucks a bit, but the bottom line,
1/3 does not suck a bit.
I love
That's
my bottom
lovely.
line. So I'm happy to put aside that month, that bit of time each month. And on the first of every month, I do all of my income and expenditure, look at how many page reads I've got for the previous month and sales. And I can see it going up and up and up. So that time investment, although you're thinking, oh, I'm not writing, I'm not being creative. In fact, that's one of the things that's really made a difference to my income. So I recommend it. Being
Okay.
methodical.
So who is this? I don't know.
Yeah, Lisa, Nick Erickson and Lisa somebody.
Yeah, Nick Erickson he used to do lots of Facebook ads. He runs Facebook ads for people, but he got shut down for some reason and he won't say why, but he does ads and strategy planning for authors. He's an author himself. He writes kind of sci-fi. It's not sci-fi romance. It's more like sci-fi thriller. He's got a female main character. And his life, he's really data driven. So he loves data points, and he does lots of strategy and planning, and very generous. So he's got a good newsletter that worth signing up to, very informative and useful. He does a little bit of mansplaining. Don't record that, Carolyn, but is a little bit mansplaining. But if you can get past that, the information is very practical. And common sense, really. So yeah, Nick Erickson.
And who is Lisa? What's her last name?
Lisa Vino,
Vino.
Savino. She writes super steamy alien and dragon romances, and is making a lot of money, spending a lot of money on ads too, but she's really transparent. I think she spent might have been about 400,000 on ads last year.
Holy crap.
To make over 1 million. But yeah, their chats are great. The last one they had was 3 hours and they did all the strategy and planning, and now I use their templates to plan out my year. So worth looking into if you're thinking I need a bit more structure with that sort of thing.
I appreciate the recommendation because I absolutely do. And I mean, I used to look at things a lot more, but I need just to tighten everything up on my business, and you guys are inspiring me. So thank you. I think she actually posted something about that 400K spend on 20 books a while back because they were doing the yearly review. People were talking about how much they made. And I think she actually laid it out on that. I'll have to go back and look. Hi, Tegan.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good.
I've got a million things to do. I've been not arguing, dealing with a narrator all morning, and I didn't realize that she had to have my book. Okay, it's due to her, like she's due to start production on the 13th of next month, and I didn't realize she needed the manuscript 2 to 3 weeks in advance of that.
Why?
So, that was my question too. Apparently she has to read through it and get familiar with the book, but for God's sakes, I can edit a book in 3 days. And that's like,
I've never had a narrator ask me for that. That's weird.
I hadn't either. And she's been like, it is super stressful to me when people nag me for stuff.
Yeah.
Like it just stresses me to the point that I can't hardly write. It cripples me. And like 4 times in the last week and a half, she's going, hey, do you have that manuscript yet? Hey, are you done yet? Are you done yet? And I finally snapped at her and I said, it's not due to be to you until the 13th of next month. And she said, yeah, but all my other authors send it to me 2 to 3 weeks in advance so that, and I really need that, or I get really bad anxiety. And I said, well, you're giving me really bad anxiety nagging.
Right.
You know, the more time you spend nagging me, I'm not right, because I'm going. So yeah, I said, I don't know what other authors you have that are done that far in advance to get it to you, but I am not. So I'll work on that. But, and I know next time, but you can't throw that at me now when it is literally 3 weeks before the due, or 4 weeks, whatever.
Mm.
No, I cannot write the whole book today. There's your answer. Shit, like we don't have enough stress already. We were talking about, somebody mentioned ACOS and I probably missed it, but the Mal Cooper's worksheet, like with my Keyhole Lake one, I can go up to like a stupid amount, like 1,500 ACOS, and still be profitable when I plugged in all the data on it. So I don't pay attention to ACOS hardly at all, unless it's completely ridiculous. That's just me. And I probably missed that part of the conversation.
No, that makes sense, because it doesn't account for any of the page reads. So it looks crazy if you have all your books in KU. You look at your ACOS and it's 800-900%, but of course it's going to be, if most of my money comes from page reads rather than sales. So I'll see if I can figure out this equation. I'm not that great with equations, but I wrote it down in here and I thought, oh yeah, I'll see if I can add that to a spreadsheet. And
I can actually share a spreadsheet with you if you'd like. Mal had it, and she, I believe, shared it publicly at some point.
Yeah, on Readsy.
Yeah, so I'll send that to you if you'd like. It'll be this evening, but I can send that to you if you'd like. Then all you have to do is plug in your like how many series you have, and then you plug in the read through percentage, which is fairly easy, to figure. But then it'll just spit out what ACOS is still profitable for you.
And if
Yeah,
you
and
search,
it also doesn't count like hardbacks and audio too. So if any of your books are in audio, that's not going to be part of it either. So and
True.
sell stuff on that.
yeah.
So right now I don't even want to talk about audio sales.
Other than yeah, unless you're arguing with your narrator, but yeah.
my audio sales just plummeted over the last couple months, and I'm not sure why. Like I was making like $700 or $800 a month off of it, and then all of a sudden it dumped to like 3, 4, and I can't figure out why, other than, I mean, to be fair, that's all organic. I don't advertise them at all, so maybe that's part of it. But and they've all paid for themselves, thank God. But still, I've invested it. I want the money out of it.
Who do you have your audio through?
I'm wide with it. I uploaded it like this. Usually my Keyhole books are through Findaway, but then they got stupid ridiculous about charging for, like, they tack on huge fees for the narrator if you don't.
Really?
Yeah, if you don't, it's a stupid amount. It's like they tack on an extra $75 or $100 per finished hour or some crap. And so I work with Megan Kelly for this one. And the good thing about her is that she can finish it, I can approve it, and it is live usually within 24 hours. So she's kind of worth the hassle on that, even though she's kind of a needy pain in the ass. It's worth it to me not to have to wait 2 weeks for my audio to approve. So now what I do with her is I use her through ACX, and then I download the files and upload them to Findaway for the wide distributions, because I make a lot of my money off library sales. Actually, that might be why my money's down, because people aren't going to libraries right now. Of course, I know.
Well, I don't know. They can get it online. Maybe a lot of people don't know how to do that, though.
I make more money through Scribd. It's the strangest thing. I make as much money through Scribd as I do through Apple.
Really?
Yeah. I seem to have a lot of users there, and I'm not sure why, because I know nothing about that program.
Yeah, I have I've got my nonfiction through myself, and I've sold so many of my nonfiction books through Scribe too, so it's just crazy.
My
That's
eyes are
not
crossed. I'm
audio,
looking for
correct?
some-
Sorry, Michelle, was that books? Through
Oh,
Scribe?
yeah, I think it's called Scribe or Scrib. No, Scrib.
Scribd.
Scribd, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Scribd. Yeah, SCRIBD. And yeah, it's
That's what I meant, not the other one, Scribd.
Scribd. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
got
yeah, I've probably, yeah, I mean, I think I've sold a couple hundred at least, if not more, which I know is low numbers, but for a nonfiction book about copywriting, it's really not bad.
No, I don't think it's low at all. I mean, when you look at what I'm making right now with like 7 books out, that's what I'm making.
Yeah.
You know, up to 300 a month is like, holy crap, it's going to take me 17 years to make back the last 2 books. I finally started with my audio. What I do is I just lump all production expenses into one amount. And if I make that back on my pre-order or whatever with first month, I count everything as paid for. Like I can't even look at audio sales and say, oh, wow, I made $2 on that last week toward the 1,500 I paid for the production.
I
Keeps
did
my-
royalty share, so, and it was fun because I started royalty share before Ravenwood really took off, and then I had a retired school teacher who was my narrator. She had that Midwestern accent I really wanted, and it was paying her mortgage for a while. She was having a good time, so I still am going to be using her because I'm going back and re-editing those books, and I don't have all of that series in audio yet. And you know, I have to admit, I look at audio as gravy. You know, and it's money that shows up, and it's like, yay, because I'm all in with KU. I'm so used to focusing Amazon. So if I get extra on paperback sales, or especially audio, because it's, you know, a little chunk of money, to me, it's just gravy because I'm royalty share. But it's just because I'm freaking cheap. I don't like putting my money up front and not knowing I'm going to get it back. I definitely probably should look at that. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm always worried, like, because I was an editor for so long, I look at it from the production end of it, and I always feel bad asking somebody to wait on their money. So, and I also don't like somebody else having control of my stuff.
Mhm.
That's why I do the upfront. But I mean, the share is a great thing if you don't have the control issues that I have. But it's like, well, because I have a hard enough time keeping track of everything. So if I pay for it, I know that's taken care of. I don't have anything else ever to do with it. You know, it's everything else rolling in is just money.
Mhm.
But again, I am the least organized person on the planet, so you probably shouldn't listen to me on that.
No, I agree. I'd rather pay up front too. I mean, because the thing is that if it takes off, then yeah, it can be a kind of a big loser. If it doesn't take off, then obviously, but then it's not, yeah. But I have to go too. So I was just going to jump in and say that because Lonnie, it's funny because I was like, oh, I got something at 1 o'clock as well. So, anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to head out here before too long too, but I had planned to do this whole afternoon with you guys, but then my son texted and I can actually go hang out with him for a minute. So that, and I've got to go talk to the tattoo artist.
Ooh, what are we doing?
I'm doing like a badass Tinkerbell version of Tinkerbell. Like she's crank, like kind of like biker Tinkerbell kind of
Yeah.
on my forearm. And then I'm doing the original Sweet Murder, just the graphic off of it on my shoulder.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so
Sweet.
it's
And, now, James, my James is, well, he's a carpenter by trade, but he's also an amazing artist. And that's, and as is his daughter, who does a lot of my book covers. You know, she does all the great, my whole Deadly series, how it pops like that. She does that for me, but on my titles. But and she made my little needles. But he was a tattoo artist long time ago, you got to see his body where he would just, like just to make sure, like even if there's just ink in it, I was like, oh my God, you look like a freak. But he drew me up one time like a Tinkerbell, but she had on an American flag bikini, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
I like the and I'm not even a big Tinkerbell fan. It just comes across as a really cool tattoo. The attitude. Yeah. That is so funny because now I'm picturing him with like little scribble marks all over himself.
Oh, he's got. I'm like, what are you doing? Trying to tattoo something down there? He's got some in some places where I was like, what in the hell were you thinking?
Ow. That makes me hurt just to think about it. Right? Holy cow.
My favorite I have to tell you, my favorite tattoo that he does have, he did not do. He had it done. And when James and I dated in high school, and then after we broke up my junior year, he dated my best friend. And
that's awkward.
Then he went into the no, not at all. Then he went into the Marine Corps, and of course during like boot camp, that kind of thing, he got, of course this was years ago, so you could, he has her name tattooed on in a little heart, and then of course they break up like everyone does, and so I give her a hard time because I still talk to her, and I'm like, every morning when I roll over and I see your name on on his shoulder, I think of you, Kim.
There's only one name I would have put on my body, and that would be Dustin's, my son's.
Yeah.
My last.
But I do think that's.
Do the whole joint name tattoo thing, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, well, I've got to jump off here. I'm sorry I wasn't here for the whole thing. I would have much rather been here than negotiating price and being frustrated because I don't have this book all written today, but.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'll take the recording and upload it to the private, set it to private on YouTube so people can access it and then they can skip through it easily. Did we have anything else that we wanted to talk about, or should we go ahead and close out?
I was just going to say that, last year I was making on my audios, and I have a ton of audios because I am a firm believer, having taught special needs and stuff, I'm a firm believer that audio is a great way to go. And so I always try to put my books in audio. And I really do think I have like 13 or something right now. And I was making decent money on them. I mean, for me, like $400 a month, Yeah, and then suddenly, bam, I mean, I couldn't make $80, $40. I don't know what the hell has happened, but audios for me.
Who are you through?
I just
ACX?
never recovered. About 6, yes.
Yeah, my audio really
about
dropped
6
too.
months ago. I mean, I
think it's the returns. I've heard of authors who actually owed ACX money at the end of the month.
Oh my God.
ACX or?
Yeah, ACX.
Really?
Because they changed their return policy. And then not only did they change the return policy, but they went to all their subscribers and let them know that they could return their audios.
They need to get rid of that, and they need to get rid of readers being able to report errors for the quality notices. That is so much bullshit because all those errors, whatever she marked besides the title, I had already fixed those and re-uploaded on the day that the book dropped. So the errors that she reported weren't even errors anymore.
ACX did have you could return it after a year.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think now it's 9 days or something, but even still,
that's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get being able to return stuff, but I also get that there are serial returners. And so it should be limited to, there are audio samples. There is no reason.
Yes.
There's no reason for somebody to get, to read listen to the whole book and then go, oh, I'm going to return it.
Yeah. I sure didn't like that narrator's voice. Well, by God, you should have thought about that.
Exactly. Yeah. You had a chance. You listened to the sample.
And there's a return period on ebooks as well, isn't there? That someone
7
can, if they're a
days.
fast reader, they can
Oh.
read the book and then return it and get their money back.
Get out
I've
of
only
there.
had that
Yeah.
happen a couple of times where someone that you can sort of see the data, someone gets one
Mhm.
book, reads it, the returns
Yep.
it, gets the next, returns it.
Mhm.
And it just so infuriating because they just read
Mhm.
your stuff for nothing and then return it, and it looks bad on your dashboard and you make no money.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of this, I just had a reader contact me with, talking about like long pre-orders and returns and that kind of thing. I just had this time I had a reader contact me and she said, I pre-ordered this 9 months ago when you put it up, and my credit card was already dead. My credit card had expired. So that is something that I'm going to take into consideration when setting pre-orders from now on, is that maybe I won't set them for so long, just because I saw a big chunk this time. Like I had 890 pre-orders on this last book, and I only I think 780 or something like that. I lost like 100 books to it. So maybe that's something to consider.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm still was more than happy with that chunk, but when you look at 100 more, that would have been even nicer.
Mhm.
How dare they walk past my house? Okay, well,
Makes me
you
feel
guys
better.
have-
I've got dogs wandering through too.
Mine just stays on the back of the couch and yells at everybody that walks past. So, okay, well, I've got to scoot. So you guys have a great day.
You too.
Hey, you too. We'll talk to you
Bye.
soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, ladies. Well, are we happy where we are about stuff? Should we wrap things up?
Yep, sounds good.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
I'll go
I'll
bake
go-
a cake.
Have some cake, Karen. Yeah.
Yes.
Cake and bake some cake for your
Yeah.
husband. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go bake.
So, Karen, are you
Bye.
going out with friends or something? Go hit the pub or?
I have no friends around here because I moved away from this city
Oh, that's right.
when I was 19, and I'm a bit older now, and they've all gone.
Mm.
And my poor mum's housebound and
Yeah.
not supposed to drink on her painkillers. So no, this is it for me.
Ah,
I'm going to go and curl up on the sofa. And I did get something. Where is it?
what'd you
As
get?
a birthday present, I got this on your recommendation, the Tropiosaurus.
I
As a
was thinking that
present.
too. Yeah.
I can read this. It looks
You
quite
wild thing, you.
Yeah.
It's both sad
are a
and
wild
really
woman.
touching that we are
I
your
know.
high point of your day.
good. Yeah, this is my happy space.
She talks a lot about the Golden Compass. I guess I need to go read that. I never read the Golden
She
Compass.
does.
Oh, is that Philip
Oh,
Pullman?
she-
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just thought it was
Oh.
good for sparking plot bunnies in the brain, because sometimes I'll get in my groove and I just feel dry. Cece used that about feeling dry. And I thought it was helpful for especially after I'd gone through and put together kind of this weird database of ideas for the different plot points. So I could just choose, one from column A and two from column B, and it'd be a crap book,
Yeah.
but I could do a book. I just thought it was useful for that. So I hope you don't think it sucks, because I feel bad. My
I
recommendation
think
was
it's good.
bad.
Oh.
There's like cozy mysteries in
Yeah.
here,
Yes.
police procedurals, all sorts. Yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
you saw it. So yeah, that's my treat for tonight.
Okay. Well, if you're here in Texas, I would not cook you brisket, I promise, but I would make you a vegan cake. So, all right,
Well, I had-
everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye. I'll go ahead
Bye.
and wrap up the recording. I'll put a link up as soon as I can for when YouTube processes it. Okay.
All righty.
All right.
you.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.